Whoa, we didn't see you there. Welcome back to the Blue Castle podcast. I'm your host, Molly.
And I'm your other host, Sarah. What a way to kick it off.
I was kind of going for like Blue's Clues. I don't know, like a little kids show or something. But anyway, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the podcast today. We have a continuation of one of our favorite ones we've done so far. And this time we're going to be focusing on Hollywood Studios, which is my personal favorite park. So I'm very excited. But we are doing the categories where we each pick our favorite ride, restaurant, snack, entertainment, and vibe. But we cannot repeat picks. So once something has been picked, it is out of rotation.
Yeah, agree. I will say the word favorite puts a little too much pressure on it in my mind. These are just things that I picked that I may or may not be my favorite.
Amongst our favorites.
Yeah.
Favorite of the moment. Like if at this exact moment in time, this is the vibe we're choosing, but that doesn't mean that we're going to feel the same in 5 weeks or 5 minutes.
Yeah. And like if you have a favorite that matches my favorite, obviously it can still be both of our favorites. But anyway, that's an argument for the 5-year-olds out there. But I mean, I think that's all we really have to say about it. I mean, hopefully you guys are familiar. I will say last time we did Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom all in one episode. This time we're splitting them up. Mostly because I started looking at my picks for Hollywood Studios and Epcot, and I was like, I just have so many things to say about these. And I also feel like I'm going to have to defend myself. I mean, last time we all know how it went when Molly came for me in my opinion about Mickey pretzels, which like Mickey pretzels are popular. Anyway, I just have a feeling she's not going to like
Sarah's got a chip on her shoulder the size of Texas and the shape of a Mickey waffle.
I mean, you're not wrong. I will do whatever it takes to defend Mickey Pretzel's honor. Okay. Do you have any other intro things to say before we get into it?
I've been checking the Disney World app more and more often lately because our cruise trip that's coming up in September is finally getting to the point where it's not like such a distant dream that it feels unreal. Like it's starting to feel more real. And there's no news about it or anything, but 5 months away, that's a lot less than it was when we booked this trip, like at 15 months away. Part of the Disney magic, even if you don't have a trip coming up like super soon, I love just looking at the countdowns and then watching like YouTube videos to further inspire me and keep me plugged into that feeling of magic and connect me to my fellow, I want to have a new name for Disney adults. I mean, I want to connect to my fellow Disney adults, and like, I love seeing adult YouTube videos where they're like loving Disney, but the Disney adult phrase.
I think just Disney people, my other Disney people.
That's true. That seems less, that seems less negative.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just love that feeling of happiness and joy and like youthful nostalgia and no worries. So my little joy of the week for Disney is just plugging in and finding that where I can, even when I'm not about to go on a trip.
Amazing. Good for you in your Disney adulthood.
Yeah, Sarah's got another big trip coming up before the cruise trip, so she's probably not even thinking about the cruise yet.
No, we're very much in all of the last minute details. Well, not that last minute. It's still a little ways out, but my parents and I are going to the UK, so we're doing some planning for that, organizing, and we're planning to non-rev there, which if you remember, that means non-revenue flying. So we'll fly standby to get to London in theory. Yeah, so we've got that trip coming up. So yeah, I really haven't been thinking much about our next Disney trip in September, but once that trip's over, I'll definitely be more focused on it.
Your upcoming UK trip is the reason that I haven't really texted or talked to you too much about the cruise as of lately, because I know you're preoccupied, but I'm very excited for you to come back from your cruise, or not your cruise, to come back from the UK so that you can be excited with me.
I mean, I'm excited about that one too. It's just, you're right. I'm a little preoccupied. All right. Ready to get into Hollywood Studios?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, do you want to go first or do you want me to? I have a feeling we're going to pick the same first one.
I'll let you go first out of the kindness of my heart. I hope you don't pick the one I want.
I guarantee you I will.
Okay.
You want to go first?
No, you can go. Take it. It's okay.
It's the best ride at Hollywood Studios. Well, I don't know objectively if it's the best ride, but my favorite ride is Tower of Terror. Hollywood Studios Tower of Terror at the Hollywood Hotel.
Absolutely gutted.
This is also part of why I said the thing about we can have the same favorite, because I kind of knew we would have the same favorite.
And this is a controversial one too, because this ride, if you haven't been on it, it's literally just a drop. Like, some people hate that, but that is the best part of a thrill ride for both of us.
Yeah, and I like the theming. I like the spookiness. I like the randomization of the drops. And it's just, you always leave it like dying laughing. It's just adrenaline inducing, and it's just so fun. And it's the iconic part of the park that's been there like forever. So it's kind of the beacon of the park.
It's my exact favorite kind of spookiness, where like I can get down with like a haunted mansion or something every now and then, but like graveyard skeleton spooky is not my favorite thing. Like Twilight Zone, Tower of Terror, black and white spooky realness, that is exactly the kind of spooky that I want on Halloween. Or literally, that's like the max amount of spooky that I'd probably want ever.
Yeah, I like it. I will say we've talked about, well, I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but the redo version of it in Disney's California Adventure, DCA, in, you guessed it, California, is like the redo kind of this ride, but it's Guardians of the Galaxy themed. So it's really cool, and I actually kind of prefer it. I didn't think I would, but it's very similar. It just has like more hang time basically, and less like ferocious drops. So I do feel like a little bit of a traitor whenever I say I like that one better, but Tower of Terror is, I never want this version of it to go away from Florida.
Yeah.
Like, I want both versions to always exist.
I love the Tower of Terror so much that if we had been living our Disney lives when they re-themed the ride in California, DCA, to Guardians of the Galaxy, I would have been very concerned and probably kind of set against it in my head. But because when we kind of started obsessing over the Disney parks and stuff, that refurb was already done, I get to just kind of take them both for the beautiful, amazing things that they are. And if I had to pick one to keep and one to go, like off the face of the earth, I think I would pick to keep the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, just because of how iconic it is and its theme. But the other one is so fun. The Guardians of the Galaxy one is such a fun breath of fresh air.
Well, you know, it's a real breath of fresh air. And I'm totally kidding on this one. The Monsters After Dark version of the DCA version of Tower of Terror, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy one. It's basically their overlay, quote unquote, for Halloween. And it's this screamo song where they just scream like Monsters After Dark, and they're like Monsters Unleashed.
Monsters After Dark. It's like terrifying.
It's terrifying. The lights are like red instead of white. So everything about it is just like extreme and in your face. And I think we have never, I can't remember exactly, but I'm just pretty sure we were dying laughing after that, like more than ever, because it was just so crazy.
It was genuinely pretty terrifying, and it's much darker. Like the whole ride experience is much darker. And the fun thing about it, there's a lot of fun things about it, but during the daytime, I think like up till 2 or 3 p.m. they have the regular Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and then at a certain time they switch to Monsters After Dark. So within the same day, you can even get a fast pass or a lightning lane or whatever to each version of that ride. So you can directly compare. I thought I was prepared for the ride because we had just been on it that morning. But Monsters After Dark was scarier.
Yeah, it feels very different. The whole concept of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is that you're like transported to another dimension and it's like spooky and weird. And then you like just kind of snap back to reality eventually. But the Guardians of the Galaxy one is called Mission Breakout. And you're in this world where there are a bunch of like trapped collection items from this weird collector guy who collects like creatures and stuff from all over the galaxy. And so you're trying to help them all break out. But Monsters After Dark is like the wrong monster broke out. And it's like crazy because there's like wild monsters everywhere. So it was leveling up that experience for sure. I'd say Twilight Zone is the most like tame as far as, well, I don't know. I think Twilight Zone is scarier than
I think the
Mission
drops
Breakout.
are less intense, but the theming is much more lighthearted. The Guardians of the Galaxy ride, where like our nephew went on the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror and he was terrified because it's really spooky and kind of creepy and weird and a little odd and like just more unsettling, I guess would be a good word for it.
Yeah.
And Mission Breakout at Disneyland California Adventure, it's so much more lighthearted and fun and funky, and it's got like fun like 80s music in the background that's on a randomized track, so you don't know which one you're gonna get. I think that one would be a better like introduction to scary ride for a kid than Twilight Zone, honestly.
Yeah, probably true.
Anyway, obviously I think your choice is amazing.
We spent like forever talking about it. Well, we both got to say our comments about how awesome it is, so I think that's fair. Now you get to mention some other ride that's also cool. Yeah,
now I get to take the crumbs off the table and try to make a meal out of them or something like that.
Crumbs. As if these other rides are crumbs. There are some other heavy hitters too.
I love Hollywood Studios. There's so many good rides. Like, I didn't even consider doing Rise of the Resistance, which is probably like critically acclaimed as one of the best rides at any Disney park right now. Like, it is so good. That's not the one I'm gonna pick though. It's not the one that I love the most. Obviously Tower of Terror would be my number one, but number two, and this is just based on the actual amount of fun that I have on the ride, not like it's nothing groundbreaking, but I love Toy Story Mania.
I was thinking that's literally what I put to after Rise.
That's crazy. That's crazy that we picked the same two, because in the past we haven't picked like any overlapping ones hardly at all.
Yeah.
But if you haven't been on Toy Story Mania before, it's like a 2-person shooting game, I guess. You're like, it's not like a gun shooting game or whatever. It's like a little like innocent
it changes
looking thing. What?
It changes like in each.
It does, but the thing you're shooting is by pulling a string at the end of like this little baby cannon looking thing. And you're kind of competing with like multiple people, kind of like you're competing in a group of 4, but you're mostly competing with the one person that's sitting next to you. So when Sarah and I go together, it's always very competitive in a fun way, lighthearted, super fun, and it keeps me like really engaged the whole time. And then after going on it once, I always am like, oh, we need a rematch, or oh, I could do that again. I don't really know if I could do it again because your arm gets pretty tired, but it's so engaging.
That's the thing that I was thinking about these rides, because I needed like a tiebreaker, because normally I go to which one do I want to go on whenever I'm thinking about planning my day. But I was also like, okay, which one do I want to go on again really bad after I've just been on it? And it's always Toy Story Mania. There's no drops. There's no like major, the ride itself, you're just moving around in a little cart, but it's like, it's really fun. It's basically like recreating a bunch of just classic carnival games with also the classic Toy Story characters talking you through it. And it's 3D. So you're wearing these glasses and it's pretty good 3D. So it looks cool. And it's just really like, it's very sensitive to how you're playing. Like, I feel like for the most part, sometimes like Buzz Lightyear, some of the older games, you feel like it's kind of like, is this really even catching like what I'm trying to do? But it's like very accurate to like what you're doing, because it's newer, so it's better technology. So there was one time we went on it
when like one of the full screens was completely blank, so our scores like weren't as high as they could have been or whatever. But It's pretty rare, or I don't even know if it's ever happened, that I felt like my shots weren't accurate and that the technology was messing up and, oh, I should have won. Your gun was working better than mine. That's not really a thing on this ride that I've noticed, at least.
Mm-mm. Yeah, no.
Anyway, it's
Nope,
so
nope.
fun. I think it's fair to say that this is the ride that you want to keep going on over and over. But in the defense of like the Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster, I don't know if my heart could handle going multiple times in a
No.
row. I can go multiple times in a day, but it's like after I go on that once, it's like, whew, I need to go outside, breathe some fresh air, feel my feet firmly on the ground for a while,
Yeah.
maybe eat a snack.
Well, and you say my heart could handle. I think for me, it's my stomach. Could my stomach handle it? But yeah, I agree. The repeat. I mean, Toy Story Mania. I think my arm could handle it in the length that it would take to get me back in line, assuming I used my lightning lane for the first round. So I'd be willing to do that one over and over. But
Yeah.
some of those other rides, they would really mess me up if I tried to do them too many times.
Oh, another advantage of the Toy Story Mania game, I don't even know if you get seat belted in technically. I think that you can, if there's a height requirement, it's super low. Like little kids could go on this, no problem. I don't know about like a lap baby, but it's really a ride for the whole family. It's not scary at all. It's fun for the adults, competitive for the adults, but like if you're sitting next to a little kid, you can still have a great game and compare your scores with the other people around you. You don't have to have two, competitive adults in the cab of the car thing in order to have a good time. You can sit next to a little kid, you could sit next to anyone and have a good time with it. It's kind of a whole family ride.
Agreed. All right. Do we
right.
want to move on to the restaurant category?
Sure. My turn to pick first?
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to pick this one. We haven't really done much or any sit down restaurants other than we sit down to eat quick service, but not a real sit down experience at Hollywood Studios, or at least I haven't. So the one I'm picking is one that I haven't done before, but it is one that I really, really want to do. Like if I were to get one reservation there, it would be this one. And it is Roundup Rodeo Barbecue.
Wow.
At the Toy Story World again. I know 2 Toy Story picks in a row, and that's no accident. I really love the Toy Story area. I think it's super cute, super fun. And the advantage of really both of my Toy Story picks is that they're both inside. Like the queues for both, or the queue for the Toy Story Mania is basically all inside, and then the Roundup Rodeo Barbecue is also inside in air conditioning. And the biggest pitfall of the Toy Story Land is how hot it can get back there with not very much shade outside. So these are like, you get to stay inside the theming, inside the vibe of Toy Story, but get out of the sun, get out of the heat, get out of the rain, whatever.
Nice.
Roundup Rodeo Barbecue is really cute. It's got like a general Toy Story theme, kind of a Woody theme-ish. I love it so much. At least the pictures that I've seen online are really cute, and it is an all you care to enjoy type of meal, but it's not a buffet. So I kind of like that mixture where you don't have to constantly be getting up to go get food, which could be really good for families with little kids or adults with limited mobility, or anyone with limited mobility. They bring the food to you. If you're not a meat eater, it might not be your thing, but generally speaking, the cast member servers come, and they give a few options. Evil Doctor smoked ribs, Buttercup's beef brisket. There's a sausage in my boot, fire grilled pork sausage, and barbecue chicken. Oh, they have some plant-based offerings too. So if you're not a big meat eater, but you like the flavor of barbecue, like the smokiness, or you like barbecue sauce, this could be good for you too. They've got a cauliflower option with a harissa drizzle and walnut gremolata. They have plant-based bratwurst and a rib chop that is also plant-based. So they've got a lot of different options. They also have some sides and stuff I think that come out with it, but it really seems to be something up my alley.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard reviews on it are kind of mixed on the food, but it's also still a relatively new restaurant, and most of those reviews were from the first few weeks of them being open. So you know that they're going to adjust some of that stuff if they're getting consistent feedback about certain dishes. But I've heard the theming is like a standout. The service was amazing. Like the whole Andy's coming situation and everybody freezing and stuff like that was really fun. So I've heard really good things about the vibes, at least.
Oh, the thing about Andy's coming. Do you want to talk about what that is a little bit? Because I don't think I even hit on that.
It's just from the movies. If you've seen the movies, you know, Andy is the kid who has all the toys. And when they say Andy's coming, the toys all, you know, play dead because they're toys. So they're not supposed to be living things. So at the restaurant, they say Andy's coming. I think they've started doing it way less just because it was like slowing down service because the waiters have to freeze too. When they play Andy's coming, then there's like a voiceover track of some kind of, you know, steps, like loud, I don't know, whatever it is. It
makes it sound like Andy is actually coming and Andy might have something to say. Yeah. I'm looking at this menu online and I mentioned the plant-based options, and it's interesting. You can get a platter of either the meat options or the plant-based options for the table, and it says choose one, but I bet they'd be accommodating. If there was like one plant-based person at the table, I bet that the server would make sure that everyone was happy with that. That kind of
I would think so.
It seems weird that the whole table would have to either all be meat eaters or all be plant-based, because that's just not really how life is.
I think I've seen a vlog where there's a vegan or not a big fan of meat kind of person, and I do think they've kind of split it. I would guess that they'll just charge you the more expensive price for the whole table or something like that.
They're not different prices. It's price per adult and price per kid.
Oh, okay.
Like
then, they'd probably just get smaller portions.
Yeah, so it's $45 per adult for lunch and $25 per child plus tax and gratuity. And then for dinner, let me see if it changes. I don't think it changed. Nope, same prices for dinner and a lunch, which is nice. They also have like some cool other things too. They've got a bread service that comes out with cheddar biscuits and sweet pepper jelly to start the meal. And then you can pick between a rootin' tootin' tomato salad with cucumbers, pickled red onion, white balsamic vinaigrette. Yum. That sounds great. And you can also, the other option is a Wheezy's watermelon salad with fresh torn mint for a starter. Yeah. And then they have some basic sides: veggie slaw, baked beans, potato barrels, which are basically Disney's version of tater tots, mac and cheese.
You're reading the whole menu.
Corn on the cob. Well, it's because you get all of this when you get the meal. You get all of these things on your table. So I'm laying it out. I'm laying out all the reasons that I would pick this. And for dessert, I would probably get the Billy's chocolate silk pie.
Wow. Who's Billy? Oh, Billy. Is he the mean one?
He might be. I don't know. But a chocolate silk pie sounds great, even if it's the villain.
It does sound good.
Ooh, there's also cupcake a la Forky, which is, it says for little riders, so I guess for kids. Gooey chocolate cake, graham cracker, buttercream, sugar cookie. I don't know. Those things don't seem to go together, but I like all of them.
I'm sure it works. Billy.
Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself, but I'm very excited about that. One day I want to go.
Yeah, I just Googled it. Billy is the mean one that wears like the skull on his t-shirt, his black t-shirt with a bunch of braces, and he's vicious.
Why did they give him a yummy pie? He doesn't deserve that.
Probably just because it's dark, because it's like dark chocolate or something. Well, that sounds fun. I do want to go there. I think the food sounds fine. I like, because the critics haven't been wowed. I'm not like, ooh, yeah, I want to go try all the food, but I do want to like experience it at some point. So,
and bang for buck seems pretty good. I know $45 isn't cheap, but like for a full-on Disney big experience, sit down, all you care to enjoy meal, that's not bad. That is not bad at all.
That'd be a good day to have it for like dinner, like a late lunch, early dinner situation.
Yeah, like a breakfast Ronto wrap in the morning and then hold off until like 3 and eat that. Yeah. That'd be great.
Sounds like a plan. I'm in.
I win.
All right. You ready for mine?
Yeah.
Okay. This is one that I've been wanting to try Again, mostly for the experience more so than the food itself. And it's Sci-Fi Drive-In Theater Restaurant. That's what it's called.
Ooh.
So it basically, the inside, it's all indoors, but it kind of recreates like an old, I don't know what era, like 60s, 50s, or probably 60s era drive-in. No, more 50s. I think more 50s. Era.
Well,
yeah,
I say 50s, but they already have another 50s restaurant, the 50s Primetime Cafe.
But I think that's the era of Hollywood studios. Like the
like
Sunset
that's the era.
Boulevard.
I think you're probably right. Yeah,
Or the
that makes
decade.
sense. And it's
Taylor Swift has made us call everything an era instead of a decade.
Yeah. As she should. She can rebrand time. That's fine. She's powerful enough.
Yeah.
But I was going to say the 50s were a great era, but it was also like before like a lot of, basic civil rights and things like that. So it was great if you were like a white man, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I don't know if we would have liked it as women, but
we won't get into the politics of it all.
But the aesthetic.
Yeah, it's good to relive the aesthetic in today's era where we've had a lot of good progress on some of those things. Anyway, yeah, so that's the one I want to try. For food, it's really just burgers. I won't read the menu like Molly did. It's basically burgers and shakes and like kind of just classic sandwiches and stuff like that. And I've heard the shakes are really good and the burgers are pretty good for a
In my defense,
Disney
I
burger.
needed to read the menu because that's all the stuff you would get.
I know.
flat
I'm
rate.
just making fun of you. No, but I think sci-fi, there's also like kind of a cult following of this restaurant. I think some people are just like obsessed with it. And I honestly, I don't even notice it when I'm there. Like, I don't think I can't picture what the outside of the restaurant looks like. And I know it's like a whole nother world inside. It's like on Commissary Lane. So if you know,
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of like in between everything. And it's kind of like a cut through area. So if you aren't familiar with Hollywood Studios, you won't just like accidentally walk by it kind of deal. But it looks like nighttime in there all the time. So I also think it'd be really nice to go in there and be like relieved from like the bright sunshine and the heat by being in the air conditioning. And it's going to be like, quieter with some little cartoons on the TV and stuff. So I've always wanted to do it. Seems right up my alley. And then everyone can zone out and not talk to each other for a little bit and
I have heard
reset.
that if you go there with a small group, you might be put at like this in the same car. And I'd say that in air quotes because the theme is a drive-in movie. And like everyone sits, I guess, in like a car looking table situation. So if you go with a small group, you might be put with another group in the same car. But I don't think that'd be that weird because they're like playing a movie and you're kind of just chilling quietly. It's not really a place to like talk.
Yeah, you're all facing the TV. Like it's truly like a drive-in theater situation. So it's not like there are cars like in the mall, at least like Quail Springs Mall or something in Oklahoma City. But like it's not like those where it's like it looks like a car, but it's an actual normal table where you're facing each other within the car. They're all facing the same direction. So I don't even think that would bother me. I would be fine with that. And
if you've got like little kids or something that are like hard to wrangle and might want to run and scream, you might want to do some more research because we've never been before. I get the feeling it might be kind of a quieter environment where you can like whisper talk, but there's a movie going on. If this is like a reunion trip for you and your best buddies from high school, or like a family reunion where you're seeing people where you haven't seen in years and you just want to talk, don't probably go to this place.
This is like, I'm here with my family and we're going to need a break from each other by the end of, by lunchtime on this day of our trip.
We love each other, but we live together. So like, we don't have to catch up. We just need a little moment.
Or we've had all week together or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I want to try it. I think it sounds fun. And I've heard like their food is good, like very good, but not like fabulous. So, but honestly, like a good burger and fries with, for me, a dairy-free shake. Amazing. That sounds fabulous.
There's a TikToker, a guy that's pretty famous on TikTok that I like, and he goes to Disney World quite a bit. He was on like Next Level Chef, if you've ever watched that show. Anyway, he's kind of like a home chef and a Disney lover, and he's talked about this place, and he said the shakes and burgers are awesome. Don't try to get too creative or order anything crazy off the menu. You might be disappointed. Get a burger, get a shake, you'll be happy.
Yay. Well, that's good to know. Alrighty. Let's move on to the next one. So we've talked about ride and restaurant. Oh, number three is snack. Oh, this is a bad one for me to go first on because I know you're not going to take it, but it's fine. Are you ready to hear? Yeah. That's true.
Are you ready
won
for
this whole
it?
episode.
Boom.
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, it is Come With Me Now as we traverse Hollywood studios and enter the land of Batu, the planet Batu, which is, I always forget, Galaxy's Edge, which is Star Wars land. And pretend you forgot to eat breakfast and you're about to get in line for Rise of the Resistance for like an hour and you realize you need a snack. And what sounds really good to you right now for, a 10 a.m. snack, popcorn that is both purple and red, and it's sweet and salty, a little caramelized, but you don't really know what these flavors are, but somehow they're just hitting perfectly. It's called the Outpost Popcorn Mix. It's a colorful blend of sweet and spicy flavors, and it's just red and purple. So it's like supposed to be, like another world, like a totally different flavor profile of, I don't know. It was really yummy. I very much enjoyed it, and I like needed food. I also got the cold brew black calf with it, which is just a cold brew with like a cream cheese, creamy.
Cold foam?
It's not even foam. It's denser than foam. It's really just like a liquidy cream, but thicker than just a normal creamer with some like Cocoa Puffs on top. Mixed it all in, and it was perfect. As we were walking through, we're about to go be part of the resistance. We're getting recruited and we're waiting in line with all of the other recruits. And I was just having my little snacky and my little coffee, and I was in a much better mood after I finished, as I was eating that, really, not even just after I finished it.
I think I tried your popcorn. Popcorn is not like my go-to most of the time, but it was interesting. It was fun. It was unique. The coffee, some of the sips of the coffee I really enjoyed, but I feel like if you wanted to get like that cream cheese flavor dispersed throughout the drink evenly, it doesn't really love to mix well. Like it was kind of...
I thought it was, I was fine mixing it. I mixed it all up at the beginning and it was good. I think it's just, you don't get a like straw with it by default. Maybe you're supposed to just like sip it.
Yeah.
So I think I had to ask, or I like got a fork from somewhere else or something to mix it up. So it's not that it's hard to mix as a drink. It's that you have to ask for something to mix it with.
Also at Disneyland, I remember this. I don't know if it's the same at Disney World, but the amount of foam was very variable on different cups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where I got a decent amount of foam, but other ones didn't. And I as someone who likes the foam, I like the flavor of it. I was happy for that, especially when I'm on like vacay mode. I want a sweet coffee. I can drink black coffee at home. I do not want to have somewhat of a black coffee when I'm paying, $7 for it at Disney World.
Yeah. I remember when I ordered it, I asked for it if there was a way to make it extra sweet, and they were like, we can just add extra of the like cream foam, whatever top part. And I was like, yeah, that's great. But they put the same amount of coffee in and extra of the foam stuff. So it was spilling over all over my hands, and that's like slimy. Like it was very, very thick, creamy. So it was kind of a mess. And then I had my popcorn in my other hand. So I was like, I guess I'll just drip with my hand covered in this walking away.
Was this on your solo trip last summer?
No, this was with, I think I was with Mom whenever I ordered it. We kind of split up for a little while I went and got that. And I don't know what you guys, maybe some people are in the bathroom, but whatever it was.
To find us in line. So, or we were about to get in line or something after that. And Mom, I think both of them were kind of overflowing. And Mom said that like, she's like, sorry, I drank some of it, but it was overflowing. And I was like, so you guys had already kind of cleaned it up by the time it got to me.
Actually, I think you went and did like Tower of Terror with Siobhan, because we went to Rise of the Resistance.
Disney World and Disneyland. I'm getting those trips mixed up.
Well, Galaxy's Edge, if you didn't know, listeners out there, is the exact same, almost the exact same in Florida as it is in California. So it is very trippy when you're there, because it's like, I've been here on the other side of the country before, but I haven't been here before ever. Just very weird. But anyway, I think that particular moment made me really like both of those treats. But I've also had the coffee again, and it was also really good again. And I just love sweet, like candied popcorn like that. And I love sweet and salty stuff. So that really hit the spot for me. Last time I went, they didn't have it, but it's back on the menu. I looked and it's there. So next time we go, I want it. Anyway, that's my snack.
They sell that much, and then when they got rid of it, the people who loved it complained a lot. So
yeah, I don't know. Or it's just seasonal. Like maybe they just only bring it out every once in a while for some reason. But
that's true. Okay. Anything else
snack?
To say about your snack? You said 2 snacks, but I will allow it because the vibe goes together.
Well, no, I thought one was a drink to go with the snack, and we don't have a drink category.
Okay, well, maybe we should have had a drink category, but we don't, so that's okay.
That's okay.
Okay, so my snack, I have 2 choices here, one of which I've eaten before and really enjoyed, and one of which I haven't, but I think I would love.
Just say them both.
Okay, I think the one I'm actually going to pick is the carrot cake cookie at the Trolley Car Cafe. You have?
Mm-hmm.
Was it good?
It was good. It's more of like 2 slices of cake, really.
That's what it looks like, which is why I am so drawn to it. I like cookies. I like cupcakes. But what I really like more is have you ever made your cupcake into a sandwich by tearing off the bottom and putting it on top? Somehow that makes the whole thing seem so much more moist and like decadent to me, to have like a cake sandwich. Who doesn't love good carrot cake? I mean, except for maybe little kids who hate carrots. Just tell them it's like a spiced cake and they're probably going to love it.
Yeah. No, when I had it, it was really good. At this point of the day, it was really hot, but I was determined to try that. And my stomach was kind of hurting. So I didn't have like a fair chance at it, but I did eat some of it and it was really good. And then I went on Tower of Terror and
oh no,
it got really shaken up. And so I threw it away. And the person next to me commented, they were like, R.I.P. your cake. And I was like, I know. But I mean, it still would have tasted good. It was just,
I thought you meant like it got shaken up in your stomach. So like
no, it got shaken up like in the box.
That's better than like it rumbling inside your tummy and causing turmoil.
It probably did that too. I don't really remember, but actually I'm pretty sure it did. I remember at that point I was like kind of like, okay, ready to take a little break. No, but it was very tasty. I definitely want to get it again.
If you were wondering, the other thing that I was considering picking was the Lunchbox tart at Woody's Lunchbox, but that would have been my third pick in a row that was all within Toy Story. Can you catch a theme of what area I am drawn to a little bit?
I thought you didn't like that very much.
I don't like how hot it gets and how crowded it gets, but the theme of Toy Story itself.
I meant the tart thing, the Pop-Tart looking thing.
Oh, the tart was okay. It's more of like the vibe of the tart. So the tart is kind of like a grown-up Pop-Tart with like a better pastry. And I think that it was just maybe a little dry, but when we did it...
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say your comments about it were that this isn't a Pop-Tart, it's a cookie. Because it tastes kind of like shortbread.
I think you're right. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember it that well, but I do think that I got one when we went to Disney World as a family. A different time from the one you're talking about.
Okay.
And Siobhan and I shared the tart that we got in line for Toy Story Mania, and the line wasn't too long. We were able to like kind of pleasantly split our little snack, and by the time we were done, we were like really close to the front of the line, and the kid in front of us was super cute. I don't love Woody's Lunchbox to sit there and eat. The food is really good, but it's all outside. It's kind of hard to find good seating, and because of the lack of good natural shade in that section of the park, you're supposed to feel like you're like toy size. So like all of the vegetation and stuff around you is basically supposed to look like grass, because to scale, grass is the only thing they could build. Like if they make you the size of a toy, how in the heck would they plant a tree that is the right size to scale? So they just don't, which means there's not much shade. So any outdoor queue situations there are not the most pleasant because of the heat or the elements in general.
Yeah.
Which is why Slinky Dog Dash is not one of my favorites, because the line's all outside.
Well, that was a fun little side tangent. from talking about Pop-Tarts. But I do, yeah, I really liked, that was on my list as a potential backup, was the little Pop-Tart treat thing, because I really liked it. And they have different flavors, and I've only tried, I think, like the raspberry one or something.
I think
and they
the
have different
raspberry
seasonal
one
ones.
is, I think the raspberry one's the one that stayed on the menu, because I just looked
Yeah.
again. And right now, their seasonal one is a lemon blueberry lunchbox tart, where it's like lemon filling and blueberry on top, blueberry frosting.
Which that makes sense for like Easter and spring and stuff. So
yeah, it also seems pretty refreshing. So I would love to try that one.
yum. All right.
Okay,
Next category.
It's me.
Entertainment. It's you.
I get my first pick, but I didn't even come up with the second pick because I don't think you're gonna pick this. My entertainment is just the characters that walk around and kind of do impromptu shows at the Galaxy's Edge area. It's not like, I don't think it's on a schedule or anything, or I don't know if you can necessarily plan it. You could hang out back there all day and probably see a lot of characters, but there's Kylo Ren is there, like droids, the Mandalorian has been seen there, Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, I believe Ahsoka. It's basically all of the new-ish Disney IP characters. So unfortunately, you're probably not going to see like Luke, Leia, Han Solo, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan. None of the iconic characters, but you'll see a lot of the... Yes, Chewbacca has spanned all of the movies, so he's
That's
iconic.
what's really convenient about him being a totally different species than what actually exists. He can just live for a really long time in this magical Star Wars world. You also forgot Rey, who's very popular.
Rey is there too.
And
cool.
the Rise of the Resistance are the most common that you're going to see.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of characters that aren't like specific characters from a movie. You'll just see like an admiral from the Resistance, or not the Resistance, an admiral from not the Empire, the First Order. Yep. Or like you'll just see like random kind of not real characters, but just like people in costume that are kind of funny and entertaining. And there's really good crowd interaction too, where there's kind of a script that they're going with. I think there's a few directions they could take the story that they're presenting to you, but they will try to kind of engage with the crowd, especially kids or anyone who seems to be vibing with it. So it's fun. They do a lot of like improv type stuff. So that's fun. Almost anytime you go through Galaxy's Edge, if you spend any sort of time in there at all, you'll see something like that. You might not see the character you want to see, but you'll see something that's fun and will be entertaining and will leave you with a good memory.
Yeah, I think whenever we went, I may be confusing this with like a vlog of someone else I saw, but I'm pretty sure we told Ben, like, he was a little bit scared, but we told him just like, be cool, just act normal, whatever. And he was like so brave, and he didn't like back away or anything. He was just like, yeah, I'm tough. I'm a tough guy. Like, come at me kind of deal. But they are intimidating. Like, if you're anything like me, where it's like you see a cop on the streets and you're driving, suddenly you feel guilty even though you didn't do anything wrong, and you're going like 5 under the speed limit. So I see these first order like soldiers, I guess, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're coming for me. I'm in trouble. And they come up to you and they ask like identification. And they're just kind of like harsh or whatever. And I'm like, you're scary. They're definitely scarier than the humans.
Part of me agrees, and part of me like would think to be nervous like you, but the other part, like, just depending on my mood, I could see myself being like, what are they gonna do about it if I'm just sassy with them?
Yeah, no, I'm not like truly nervous, but you can definitely tap into it. It's kind of like on a roller coaster. Like, if you let yourself go there, I have a hard time doing it anymore, but you can make yourself like get nervous and be like, oh, this is gonna be so intense, or like, you know, like if you want to like play up into the excitement of it, you can like let your imagination go there and be like, oh my gosh, I'm in the Resistance and they're going to catch me, you know?
Oh, when I was training to work the ropes course at a kids summer camp, we had to do like all this, you know, we had to do like a final exam basically to see if we had the skills to run the ropes course. And one of the things that they did was they called them top staff, but basically just like more experienced staff members were like going through the ropes course, and we were like, you know, tying their knots for them and belaying them and all that stuff to make sure that we like were qualified. Well, one of these top staff members climbed up what we called the pamper pole. And we jokingly called it the pamper pole because it would make you wet your diaper. And that's how scary it is. Like just a giant pole. And then giant wooden pole, you climb to the top and then you have to jump off and try to catch like a trapeze type looking thing. She genuinely like let herself get so scared. She was not afraid of heights usually, but she was like playing the part of a scared kid. And people were like trying to get her to come down to see if they could handle the stressful situation. She actually got so scared. Like she let herself go there. She peed herself on the pamper pole. And afterwards, like, she was crying afterwards because she was like, I don't know how I actually got scared. I was pretending to be scared, and then all of a sudden I was scared, and now I'm embarrassed because I peed in front of everyone.
That is traumatizing. And it's actually wild because she, like, firsthand was, like, a psychology experiment on, like, the power of the mind and how she had, like, conquered something, but you can be, I don't know, you can, like, let yourself really...
And she was so cool and chill. She was not the type of person to do that for attention either. We were like, oh my gosh, did you hear that she did that? It was very interesting. No one was like, she shouldn't have been embarrassed in that way. Everyone was just like, that was wild. That was crazy. It wasn't even like, it didn't even seem like it was her, you know? It seemed like something took over her.
Yeah, it was like the human body did something because of like the way she let her mind go allowed her body to just react in a totally different way than it would have if she had stayed in control. That's actually crazy.
So learn from her, and when you see the First Order, don't pee your pants.
Lesson learned. You really, I mean, yeah. I have seen situations where people, they basically try to make it really hard for them to improv in character because they'll be like, I'm in the resist, like basically like they give themselves over, but then the resistance can't actually like arrest them or anything. So they just have to
the First Order can't arrest them?
Or yeah, sorry. The First Order can't like arrest you, obviously. And so it's just really hard for them. Like you kind of have to pretend like, oh yeah, no, I'm so good. Like, I don't know. Otherwise, that you make it really hard on them. But
if anything, I would want to be like, hey girl, hey, how's it going? Like, oh girl, I love what you did with your hair. Because they could still kind of stay in character for that, but like it's not the typical dynamic.
I'm sure they get stuff like that sometimes. People just being goofy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was actually on my list. It was my second one though. I actually had 3 on this one, but First Order searches for the resistance. That. I did. I considered it. It was actually the first thing I thought of. Then I remembered, drumroll please, Fantasmic is at Hollywood Studios. And you've never seen it, so it probably didn't come to mind.
I've heard amazing things.
And we all know how much Molly loves Fantasia. It's her favorite movie ever, especially the scene with the Jack in the Box. I don't even know if there's a scene with a Jack in the Box, but... Anyway, I love Fantasmic. It was really good. I've only seen it once in my whole life, unless we watched it in the year 2000, which I don't remember at all. I went to Fantasmic like the second or third day it had reopened after COVID, and it was our whole family trip, but it was like the last park day of the whole trip, and everyone else was tired, and they said, I don't care enough about Fantasmic. You guys go, have a good time, whatever. And I was like, I'm fine to go alone. And my mom was like, probably super tired, but she was determined to stay with me if I was going to stay because she didn't want me to stay by myself. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. I think she liked it too. She was probably like super tired, like I said, but it was kind of late at night. Anyway,
I would have
really
liked to stay. We had a very, very early flight the next day. Like we had to get up.
Yeah,
at like
I didn't have as early of a flight. Yeah, it made sense. And then obviously Sam and Bonnie and their kids, they're younger, so they're probably beat. But it's a really cool show. If you don't know what it is, it's out on this, you get to sit down. It's in this big theater, but it's like a big outdoor theater.
Amphitheater?
Yeah, there's like a moat type water river thing around the front of it. So there's a lot of water features. And then it's basically like a big mountain. And there's just a lot of Disney like classic characters. It's a very old show, but they've done like recent updates to it. So it has some new stuff, some old stuff, some really old fashioned looking like cheesy parts of it. But it was really cool. A lot of people were crying or just like really emotional when I was there because it was the first time back in like years. I think before COVID, they were already renovating it. So it had been down for a while, or like reworking it, you know, and updating a lot of it. And then it took it a really long time to get all the way back after COVID. So a lot of people had missed it a lot. And it was just one of those like, the world is back in business, baby, kind of moments. Plus Disney people are.
Do you know if they still have the fire breathing dragon in that? Like today, do they still have it?
I don't remember that part. It might have been in there, but I think after I've seen it is when they had the problems, maybe at Disneyland. I honestly don't remember. There's always some kind of drama with the fire breathing situation.
Yeah, at Disneyland, the fire breathing dragon, who had a name, I don't remember, but he caught on fire during one of their shows.
Maleficent? Oh, no,
Maleficent.
No. Eugene? I don't know.
Eugene. I think it's Maleficent. I think you're right. Maleficent caught on fire during the Fantasmic show at Disneyland, and it was like a whole thing, and I guess it took a while for like most of the crowd to realize it wasn't part of the show and the whole thing wasn't supposed to catch on fire.
Yikes.
Rip.
I mean, you can definitely still have this show without that part. You just don't turn it on or don't even have that part. Like there's a lot going on, so it's not like you need that. But well, actually, I could be wrong. I don't remember it that clearly. But it's a great show. I definitely want to go watch it again. It was a slay. All right, last one. Vibe of Hollywood Studios. I'm glad I'm going first on this one because I wasn't very creative. So you very well might have the same one as me. But are you ready for my vibe of Sunset Boulevard?
Yeah, I'm hoping you don't pick mine because I didn't pick it back up. Oh, no.
I just gave mine away. It's a sunset at Sunset Boulevard. With the lights dimming. Is that yours?
It literally is. I can't think of another one. Like I might just
I
have
do have
to
a second one.
I'll come up with something, but continue.
I mean, imagine it's like the quintessential 50s vibe with that kind of music and the lights are coming on and it's like, you know, obviously sunset and the colors in the sky. It's just so good. It feels very like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels very happy. Everyone's in a great mood. Especially, I feel like everyone's always in a good mood as the sun is setting because it's less hot and it's less like oppressively bright, and it just makes everyone calm down and be happier. And you know, you get your little snack or your treat or whatever on Sunset Boulevard and just hang out, and it's beautiful. So happy.
I fully agree. The only thing that I added to this was very specific because we did this. Same vibe, same everything, same time of day, but with our niece and nephew lightsaber fighting kind of tucked away in the corner. It was so cute and pleasant. We had our own little like corner. I don't know. I can't remember if we found a bench that was kind of tucked away. It was near the bathrooms. I know that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we found this little tucked away corner, but it was enough space for our niece and nephew to kind of have a little room to play. And they both had gotten like lightsaber type toys at this point, and they were kind of sword fighting with each other with their lightsabers. And then my boyfriend joined in, and basically the children were all playing, aka Ben, Anna, and my boyfriend. And the rest of us were just kind of chilling. I might have joined them at some point, but very wholesome, sweet, winding down, people watching, content.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of, if you're not in Toy Story, well, okay, no, I was about to say if you're not in Toy Story Land or Sunset Boulevard during sunset, you're missing out. But Galaxy's Edge is really cool at night too. That whole park is really, really cool at like twilight, kind of dusk or sunset time. It's just the lighting there is really cool. Okay, you want to hear my other idea if you haven't come up with another one?
I did come up with another one, but I can hear yours too. But if you take it, then I'm out.
I doubt you have it because it's seasonal. It's very specific. It's similar to what I was just talking about with lighting. It's the Christmas tree lighting at Hollywood Studios. So they have a really pretty Christmas tree there, and they like have a specific time that they turn on the lights and they do like a countdown and everything. And so that's when everyone's out there outside at the same time, kind of enjoying the holiday spirits together. Christmas vibes.
Fun, festive, cute. Definitely not something I'd be thinking about, especially right now. I mean, as we record this, it's late April, so not very Not very Christmassy in the time frame, but love it. Love Christmas. Can never get enough.
Yeah. What was yours?
Mine is getting off of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, being like, let's get a snack. You get a snack. Preferably, I think like a churro would hit the spot right then. This is the middle of the day. Middle of the day. You find a nice shady spot to sit kind of in that courtyard, you know, where when Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the queue extends all the way out there. Kind of in that area, but like in that general vicinity. And kind of people watching, eating your snack, and then just pleasantly plotting out the rest of your day, sitting amongst the hustle and bustle, but not like being in it, because you're taking that time to sit and people watch, and maybe you're sipping on something, chewing on something, get a little snack, and you're like, ooh, we're at the middle of the park. What do we want to do next? Tower of Terror's that way. Galaxy's Edge that way. Like literally that's such a central part of the park. And I think when I'm in it, the world's my oyster. You can go anywhere easily.
Yeah. And while we're sitting there in this theoretical scenario, there's a huge thick cloud blocking the sun, but it's still blue skies all around. But that cloud is there just for our little break, because it's, I'm always thinking about the weather, and I'm like, there's so many things where if it's super bright and hot, it can be a little.
Yeah. Disney World has so
ruinous.
much going for it, but man, Disneyland, the weather is just better so much of the time.
Yeah. I've never had bad weather at Disneyland, and I've definitely had bad weather at Disney World, but it's just hard to beat the 4 parks, the mini resorts, and
I thought you were going to say the Minnie Mouse.
the Minnie Mouse, the Minerva Mouse, my dog. Okay, well that wraps up our episode on Hollywood Studios. Do you have anything else to say, Molly, to round out our? Because this is your favorite park. Wait, is it your favorite park, or is DCA?
Oh, geez, DCA is close. I don't know, DCA or Hollywood Studios, just depending on my mood and the day. They're both my favorites. I love this park so much. The reason I struggle to pick a vibe is because I think I say this every time. The entire park is a vibe. I love it. It has all these delightful little nooks and crannies with like, you take a turn and you're hit with a completely different vibe. I love the old Hollywood stuff. I love the older rides. Like, we didn't even really talk about Rock and Roller Coaster, but that one's a hoot. That one is so fun.
A hoot. Yeah, hold on to your hat, and by that they mean take it off and put it in the pouch in front of you.
It's an intense roller coaster for Disney. But just in general, I think that the rides at this place are superior. Like the rides at Hollywood Studios are unmatched by any other park that I can think of right now.
And we didn't really even talk about their shows besides Fantasmic. They have like the Indiana Jones show, the Frozen sing-along, and like a Beauty and the Beast, like a short version of the like Broadway type show, like a really short, not Broadway caliber, but
do they also have a writing?
So much.
Do they have like an illustration academy at this one too? I get it. I genuinely in my head, I get it mixed up with a certain area of Disney California Adventure.
Yeah, because it's also called like Hollywood Boulevard or something there. No, I don't think the writing academy is here. I think it's only at Animal Kingdom and sometimes Epcot during certain festivals. But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not. The Illustration Academy place is what you're
that room
of.
When you walk in and it's just 360 degrees showing you like they're playing a song and it's showing all of the different like phases of illustration. That's at Disney California Adventure, right?
Yes.
I feel like they could take that concept and put it in Hollywood Studios and it would have a home.
Yeah, for sure. But and there also, I feel like I'm missing some shows. Like there are more. Maybe there's also like a cavalcade type parade thing that happens. There used to be more Streetmosphere, which is like atmospheric like actors and stuff. It basically, Streetmosphere is like the First Order or like Chewbacca or whatever, just out and about in Galaxy's Edge. But for whatever reason, they've not brought back the Sunset Boulevard Streetmosphere, which was like old, what did you just call it? Old Hollywood kind of people. Like they had certain characters.
I would have loved that.
Like, Yeah, I think they were really funny. Like I've seen old vlogs where they were there and they were a good time. And sometimes they like remembered, they were like they're face actors. So they're like, and they're not like a Cinderella where you have multiple people who look kind of like Cinderella and then it's just always Cinderella. But like they were like the same actors who were the same people every time. Anyway, I just want that kind of thing to come back because I feel like I've never gotten to experience it. But there's a lot. The whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing with Hollywood Studios is that it's like the movie making behind the scenes was like the original thought behind it, and like old Hollywood glamour and glitz and movie making magic. And so a lot of entertainment, like it's really high quality entertainment there, which I really like. Anyway, we love Hollywood Studios, and I think that's a wrap. Get it? That's a wrap because it's like a movie.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Please, if you haven't already, follow us on TikTok. Sarah is still crushing it, and I am still slacking.
I wouldn't say crushing it. I've posted once in the last like 2 weeks, but I'm
better
trying.
than me. I posted 0 times in total, so still better than me. If you want, and you are listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, why don't you try just seeing how it works to give us a little 5-star rating and maybe a little comment. Spotify, whatever. This is a very new podcast, but I have heard on other podcasts people say, give us 5 stars and comment and send to someone if you like the show. And apparently that helps a lot. So we'd really appreciate that. But even if this podcast doesn't grow beyond our tiny little listenership, I really appreciate all of you. I'm having a fun time doing it.
Yeah, I feel like we're talking to not very many people when we ask for this, but I will say, find out how to hit that little share button when you're listening to this and copy the link, send the link to any friends you have that maybe are going on Disney trips and they want to plan, or you think they might be interested. We're kind of, we're just out here doing our thing and we're kind of just letting it happen. But I do think there are some things we have in the works to try to get it out there in the world a little bit more. Anyway, all right. I think that's going to do it. Anything else, Molly?
Nope.
All right. We'll see you later, Castle Dwellers.
Bye.
Bye.